He pulled the trigger right in his parents' heads.
I woke up and they all been shot.
Who's been shot, sir?
It's my wife and I.
However, they made a decision that divided the whole country.
I've been shot in the head.
Did you see the person who fired the shots?
Just a figure.
That night, the Brooks' house grew darker when one of their sons decided to shoot them at point-blank range.
I just remember thinking that it would be much better if they weren't around to boss me around, to tell me what to do. And I pulled the trigger 3 times at my mom.
The scene was completely horrifying. The bed where John and Beth Brooks slept had turned into a pool of blood, and they didn't understand what was going on. They had both been shot in the head, and their condition was serious.
I knew I was hurt bad because I kept losing sight. The blood kept coming and it was getting in my eyes and I couldn't see, so I had to keep wiping it away. So I knew right away that we were both hurt bad.
The last thing the father remembers was a black figure approaching his bed. There was no one in the house but him, his wife, and son, so suspicions point directly to the 14-year-old.
So I went back in to John, and John said to me, he goes, "Was it Nathan?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Was it Nathan?" He goes, "I think it was."
There were only doubts about the horrible crime. However, everything would become even more confusing once the victims sided with their son.
I had to sit there and with the attorney saying, yes, what he did was wrong. He should be punished for that. But I understand why.
Nathan would be sentenced to 15 years in prison, but in his parents' heads, there was no negative thoughts about their son. On the contrary, all they had was forgiveness.
You don't forgive a child because they have cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
So why would I forgive my son for having a mental health condition?
But with all respect, it's not the fact that your son has a mental health condition. It's the fact that your son put a gun to your head and tried to kill you.
Yes.
But he did that because of the condition.
The crime was horrific and generated a lot of confusion throughout the community. According to the parents, it was an isolated episode related to his depression. But for the police, the motivation was even deeper.
When you do a crime like that, and you shoot somebody point blank, you put a gun in their face, and then you pull the trigger, that's personal.
Nathan had shot without a thought in his head. Somehow, he had motivations, but he went through the motions automatically. His only goal was to end his parents' lives, but he hadn't planned what to do next.
After the last shot, and I tried to fire it again, and there were no longer any bullets left, that was when I had this instant, just undescribable amount of remorse.
The hypotheses were diverse, but none too clear. The Brooks were a well-known family in town. They were avid hunters and had received more than one report of violence. So the police hypothesized that what Nathan had done was revenge.
So just for clarification, has any abuse at all taken place under your roof, be it sexual abuse or physical abuse?
No, none whatsoever.
The Brooks family story shocked the entire country. For many, John and Beth's forgiveness was incomprehensible, who despite everything their own son had done to them, decided to continue to visit him in prison.
I think as right now today, our family loves each other immensely. I think there's a huge bond that's there. I think we're all stronger than what we were when this started.
Definitely.